Have you ever felt someone suddenly pull away from you and wondered if you did something wrong? The silence felt deafening. The distance felt cruel. And deep in your heart, you questioned whether God had forgotten about you in that moment of pain. But what if I told you that what felt like abandonment was actually the most loving act of protection you could receive? What if that sudden separation wasn't rejection but divine intervention? What if God didn't allow that connection to continue because He saw what it would cost you down the road? By the end of this message, you'll understand why God stepped in when He did, and you'll recognize the 5 unmistakable signs that heaven itself moved to protect your heart, your peace, and your future. You didn't imagine the shift. Something changed overnight. The person who once sought your attention began creating distance. The conversations that flowed effortlessly became strained and uncomfortable. The connection that felt so natural suddenly required effort that left you exhausted. And in those moments of confusion, you probably wondered what you had done wrong. You replayed conversations, analyzed your actions, and questioned your worth. But here's what you need to understand. You didn't cause this separation. You weren't asking for too much when you expected consistency. You didn't miss a warning sign that could have prevented the pain. What you experienced wasn't the result of your failure. It was the result of God's faithfulness to protect what matters most to Him: your heart, your peace, your destiny. The ache you felt when they pulled away wasn't just emotional pain. It was the sound of heaven's alarm system activating. Because sometimes the people we love most are the very ones God must remove from our immediate access. Not because He wants to hurt us, but because He refuses to let us settle for connections that will drain our joy and derail our purpose. You weren't losing something precious. You were being shielded from something dangerous. And this is where most people misunderstand what God was doing in that season of separation. When God intervenes to create distance between you and someone else, He's operating from a perspective you cannot see. While you're focused on what's happening in the present moment, God is protecting you from what could happen in future seasons. He sees the patterns that haven't fully emerged yet. He recognizes the toxicity that's still hidden beneath the surface. He knows the emotional cost that relationship would demand if it continued unchecked. Think of it this way. When a surgeon removes something from your body, it's not because he wants to cause you pain. It's because he can see the infection that will spread if left untreated. God performs spiritual surgery on our relationships for the same reason. He removes access to people who would slowly poison our peace, compromise our values, or pull us away from the path He's prepared for us. God saw what you couldn't see. He watched how your energy shifted when you were around that person. He noticed how your prayers became less frequent when their voice became louder in your life. He observed how your confidence wavered when their approval became more important than His presence. And because He loves you too much to watch you lose yourself in someone else's chaos, He created the distance your heart couldn't create on its own. This divine intervention often comes disguised as sudden changes in the other person's behavior. They become unavailable when they used to be present. They grow cold when they used to be warm. They create conflict where there used to be peace. And while it feels personal, it's actually providential. God is using their withdrawal to protect your advancement. He's allowing their rejection to become your redirection toward something far better than what you were settling for. Here's the truth that will change everything about how you view that painful separation. God didn't take something from you. He took something off you. He removed the weight of trying to make work what was never meant to last. He lifted the burden of fixing what was already broken. He freed you from the exhaustion of loving someone who couldn't love you the way your soul deserved to be loved. When God blocks someone's access to you, it's because your peace left the building whenever they entered it. Your nervous system was constantly activated in their presence. Your mind raced with questions about where you stood with them. Your heart felt heavy after conversations that should have brought you joy. These weren't signs of deep love. They were symptoms of spiritual misalignment. And God, in His mercy, refused to let you normalize the absence of peace in a relationship. The anxiety you felt wasn't a character flaw. It was your spirit recognizing what your emotions couldn't accept. The unease that settled in your chest when you were with them wasn't insecurity. It was discernment. Your soul was trying to tell you what your heart didn't want to hear. That this connection was costing you more than it was contributing to your life. And when you couldn't find the strength to create healthy boundaries, God created the distance for you. This is divine protection in action. Not the kind that prevents car accidents or natural disasters, but the kind that prevents soul damage and emotional destruction. God stepped between you and someone who would have slowly eroded your sense of worth, your clarity of purpose, and your trust in His goodness. He saw how much of yourself you were losing in the process of trying to keep them, and He refused to let that continue. Your peace was being held hostage, and God orchestrated a rescue mission. The separation you experienced wasn't punishment for loving too deeply. It was preservation for the love story He's still writing. Because here's what God knows that you're just beginning to understand. The right connections will amplify your peace, not threaten it. The right relationships will strengthen your faith, not shake it. The right people will celebrate your growth, not sabotage it. This is where God's protection becomes crystal clear. When God blocks someone's access to you, He's not operating from emotion. He's operating from perfect love. And perfect love sometimes requires perfect boundaries. The person who once had unlimited access to your time, your energy, your heart, suddenly finds doors that used to swing open now firmly closed. Phone calls go unanswered, text messages remain unread, invitations are declined, and while they may interpret this as rejection, heaven knows it as protection. God doesn't move arbitrarily. When He creates distance between you and someone else, it's because He's seen the trajectory of that connection. He's witnessed how their presence consistently disturbs your peace. He's observed how their words leave you questioning your worth. He's watched how their energy pulls you away from the clarity and confidence you carry when you're aligned with His purpose. And because He refuses to let anyone steal what He's placed within you, He intervenes. This divine intervention often manifests in ways that look completely natural. The other person becomes busy with work. They start dating someone new. They move to another city. They develop new interests that don't include you. And from the outside, it appears as though life simply happened. But those who understand how God operates recognize His fingerprints all over these seemingly coincidental changes. He orchestrates circumstances that create the distance your heart couldn't establish on its own. You weren't strong enough to walk away. You weren't wise enough to see the danger. You weren't detached enough to protect yourself. So God stepped in and did what love always does. He protected what He treasures: your peace, your purpose, your future. The version of yourself that exists when you're not constantly managing someone else's emotional instability or trying to earn approval from someone who was never meant to validate you. So when that door closed, when that person walked away, when that connection ended without explanation, remember this truth. God doesn't remove what's meant to stay. What left wasn't your future. It was the obstacle preventing your future from arriving. The separation you endured wasn't loss, it was liberation. You are safe. You are protected. You are loved beyond measure. If this message brought clarity, take it as confirmation that God shielded you in ways you couldn't see at the time. Your peace is returning because heaven stepped in when you needed it most.